So, something big is happening in Ghana's tech world. A brand new law, the National Information Technology Authority Bill of 2025, is in the works, and honestly, it's set to completely redefine the rules of the game for everyone. We're talking startups, tech giants, you name it. So today, we're going to break down what this new digital blueprint really means for the future of tech in Ghana.
I mean, that's the real million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the core challenge this bill is trying to tackle. You've got this digital economy that's just exploding, growing faster than ever. So how do you create a framework that can actually keep up with AI, with blockchain, with whatever's coming next, without accidentally crushing the very innovation you're trying to support?
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll dig into why this new blueprint is even needed in the first place. Then, we'll meet the new digital regulator. After that, we'll get into the new rules for tech businesses and professionals. Then we'll look at how the bill actually plans to build the future, and finally, we'll see how all these new rules are going to be enforced.
Okay, let's dive into Part 1, the new digital blueprint. So, why now? Well, to put it simply, the digital world today looks nothing like it did back in 2008. That's when the last major tech law was passed. It was way past time for a complete overhaul.
So what is this bill exactly? Well, officially, it's an act to set up a new authority that's to manage all of Ghana's digital services. You can think of it as a master plan, one that's designed to rip out that old 2008 framework and replace it with something actually built for today's world of cloud computing, SaaS, and a fully digital government. Moving on to our second section, let's meet the new digital regulator. Because the central figure in this whole new plan is the authority itself, NIDA. Think of NIDA as the new architect and maybe the chief referee for Ghana's entire digital space.
And the bill gets right to it. Section 1 establishes NIDA as a body corporate. Its whole purpose is to regulate, coordinate, and develop the country's tech sector and make sure it all aligns with the national development goals. This gives it a really clear mission and, yeah, some real teeth.
Now, the bill gives NIDA something like 30 specific functions, but we can pretty much boil them all down to these three key pillars. First, it's going to regulate by licensing businesses and setting standards. Second, it'll coordinate by managing all public sector tech and certifying professionals. And third, it's going to promote innovation and fair competition. It's basically the new air traffic controller for all digital services in the country.
Now, what I find really interesting is who's actually running the show at NIDA. The governing board isn't just a bunch of government folks. It's a real mix. You've got government reps, sure, but also ICT and legal experts, and even public nominees focused on things like social protection. This design is so important because it tries to make sure no single group, not the government, not the industry, has too much sway.
Okay, so we've met the regulator, but now for the really crucial part. What does this actually mean for the people and the companies on the ground? Let's get into the new rules of the game.
And this right here is the big one. Section 35 makes it crystal clear. If you are in the ICT business in Ghana, I don't care if you're running a data center, developing software, or providing cloud services, you are going to need a license from NIDA to operate legally. Period.
And the process for getting that license, as the bill lays it out, is pretty straightforward. You apply to the authority, you show that you meet all the requirements, you pay a fee, and then NIDA considers your application. If you check all the boxes, you get your license. It's really a move toward a more structured and standardized industry.
But it's not just about businesses. This quote from Section 46 is a total game changer for individuals. It says you can't be appointed as an ICT professional in the public or private sector unless you are certified by NIDA. This is a massive step. The goal is to create a standardized professional tech workforce across the entire country.
Okay, so you might be thinking this is all just about rules, and more rules. But that's not the whole story. A huge part of this bill is actually a forward-looking plan that's designed to actively grow Ghana's tech ecosystem and make it way more innovative and inclusive.
And here is a fantastic example of that. Section 60 introduces something called a regulatory sandbox. The best way to think about it is as an official innovation lab. Startups and innovators can go there to test out their cutting-edge ideas, like a new AI service or a blockchain app, in a controlled space without having to deal with the full weight of all the regulations right away.
This slide really shows you the shift in mindset. Instead of the old way with rigid rules that get outdated the second you write them, the bill is pushing for an adaptive, risk-based approach. It's designed to be technology neutral, which just means it focuses on the outcome and the risk, not on what specific tech you're using. That's how you future-proof a framework.
And this part is so important. The bill also has a really strong focus on digital inclusion. Section 63 explicitly says NIDA has to promote access for persons with disabilities, for women, and for people in rural areas. The goal here is obvious, and it's a good one. Make sure that as Ghana's digital economy grows, it doesn't leave anyone behind.
Okay, so we have a new plan and we have new rules. But a plan is only as good as its enforcement, right? So this final section covers the nuts and bolts of how NIDA will make sure everyone's following the rules, and what happens when disagreements pop up.
And let's be clear, this bill has some serious teeth. According to Section 35, if you operate an ICT business without a license, you could face a fine of up to 5,000 penalty units, which is a very significant amount of money, or even face jail time. The message is pretty clear: compliance is not going to be optional.
So what happens if there's a dispute? Well, the bill creates a very clear, step-by-step system. It always starts with negotiation. If that doesn't work, you can appeal to NIDA's Dispute Resolution Committee. Still no luck? You can go to a new national IT tribunal. And the final step, only on points of law, is the Court of Appeal. It's a structured path to justice.
And to back all this up, Section 71 gives NIDA some pretty significant enforcement powers. The authority can investigate companies, apply for warrants to search and seize materials, physically stop a provider from operating, and even award damages to people who have been harmed. These are some substantial tools for enforcement.
And I just want to circle back to that professional certification requirement for a second, because it is such a big deal. This chart just makes it super clear. This isn't just for government workers. Nope, it's a mandatory requirement for ICT professionals in both the public and the private sectors.
All right, let's boil all of this down. What are the key takeaways from our explainer? Number 1, Ghana's getting a powerful new tech regulator called NIDA. Number 2, if you're an ICT business or a professional, you're going to need a license or certification. Number 3, the bill actively supports innovation with things like the regulatory sandbox. And finally, there are clear systems for enforcement and for handling disputes. And that really brings us to the final, big picture question. This new blueprint is ambitious. There's no doubt about it. It's trying to create structure, spark innovation, and ensure inclusion all at the same time. Of course, the real test is always in how these things are implemented. But the question still stands, is this the framework that will finally unlock Ghana's full potential on the global tech stage?